Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sonic Love! So in today's video, we're going to be checking out an update that happened to the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. It happened a good few weeks ago now, but I've been doing so much stuff with other handhelds, and I just haven't had a chance to get round to showcase it. So in this video, we'll be testing out the update and how well it performs, and if there are any changes to specific emulators, more so on the harder to run emulators like Dolphin emulator and obviously Ether SX2, making sure that they have had improvements. So I've had a little look, I know, but without further ado, let's jump in and see what has changed. So just before we start, so briefly, if you go to settings, if you already have the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus and you've had it for a while, then you need to go to settings. You need to scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll see system, language, time and update. Click on system. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see updater. Click on it and you'll have two options. Version info and also check update. So if we check for an update, you'll see no update available, but I've updated it and it's now 1.00.8. If you go to info, it then tells you what's been added, the systems, optimize default settings for Dolphin emulator, enhance performance, optimize for policy of a memory card, blah 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 blah, screen mapping, gyro bugs. There is lots of changes that have happened, which is a very nice welcome, and hopefully down the line it will have further updates that will improve it even more. So first we're going to go into, in this video, we're going to be testing the new application and just a few things that have changed. We've got the Citra enhanced, so I will do a video on Citra games. I'm not really too sure how enhanced and how well they will run, so I'll have to check that out and do a video on that. But if we come across, you can see that we have a lot more emulator support and a lot more game support as well, which is absolutely fantastic to see. And one of them that I was really interested in, which is, I think it's just a bastardized version of MMJ2, I think. But all the settings have been done and configured for you. But while I tested it, there was some settings that I did have to change in some games in order for it to run. So even though it's been optimized for easier use for somebody who's never used the emulator before, there still can be done. There's still tweaks that can be done in order to enjoy the experience just that little bit more. But still a very welcome change and addition. So if I just go back, and if you go into the top right hand corner, you'll see the Retroid. So if you click on that, it then brings you to a wizard. It will ask you to install it in, and as you can see, I've done some nice box art for like Sega Saturn here, which looks really nice. And if we go through the systems themselves, we can go to ROMs. So if we go to ROMs, you can then add, you can go where the storage is, you can scan for the box art itself, you can scan for the SD cards. It really is nice. We've got the edit, so when we click into edit itself, you can select just what system that you have and what emulator that you can use, which is really nice. It is so straightforward, it's unbelievable, which is really good. And as you can see, it then gives you the options to put them all in nice categories. So as an example, if we go into there, as you can see, I've set it all up and it looks really nice. There's still some that I need to find and add onto it, but I have over 1,000 in there. So at first it is quite slow and it has been a little bit buggy, but still it is a welcome addition. But even though we have that there, and quit out of this, it's a nice front end, and as I say, the update has configured everything, and it also works on the emulation of the individual emulators as well, which is really cool. And you can also have in that front end, I didn't show that actually, you can go to systems. There are all the systems that you can add. These are all the new updated, all the latest versions, which is cool. But if we go to setup Retroid, and you can go to standalone setup. So if you go into standalone, you can see that we have the options to do the standalone setup for each one as well, which is really easy and manageable. Here is the standalone emulators. So as you can see that we have them all there. If you just want to have the standalone emulators as the front end option, which is really, really nice. You can also add an app, so it looks really, really nice. But I say I'm quite happy with what I have here. But as I say, it's been relayed over, and it also transfers into the emulation side of it through here as well. So let's click into Dolphin for Handhelds. And we're going to kick things off with some games that they've definitely improved it, which is really, really nice. And one of the biggest ones for me that I really enjoyed and was quite happy with, which I'm so glad, was Mario Strikers.
Next level games.
As you can see, it is really nice. The good thing is as well, is when you click back, you can go into quick settings. And as you can see, I've only got it 1x resolution, but it's harder to run games. You can go right the way down. You can go right the way down, if it'll let me. You can go down to 0.3x, which is really good. So just let me show you what it looks like at that. It's very pixelated and blocky, but at the same time, you are now having a really nice experience of frame rate on the harder to run games. Yes, it doesn't look that nice, but if you go back, and if you go to quick settings, and we take it up to say maybe 0.5 or 0.6 should I say, because of the size of the screen, it actually looks really nice. But I play around with that because obviously this game can run at 1x resolution on here as well, which is really nice. So quick settings, take it back up to 1x, go back, and as you can see, it just looks stunning on the small screen. Right, Toady. Let's check out some. This was a real struggle, actually, to be honest. Let's go in. Let's go to quick load. This is the Gamecube version. Is it perfect? Probably not. But is it 20 million times better than what it was before the update? Most definitely. And as you can see, the clarity is really sharp. It's really nice. If we just go back into the settings, you'll see that I have got it at 1x resolution. And it works better with that one checked off, believe it or not. So yeah, it's a massive improvement of a classic, but as I say, it looks a lot better. The 3DS version is definitely the best one out of all of them, but still, this looks really nice. Let's go buy a shield. And all the buttons have been configured as well, which is really nice. The stutters will be from a bit of Shader Cache because obviously I haven't played it, so that will also settle as the longer you play it. A wimp is still a wimp. What a game. What a game. Okay, let's jump into something else. Let me just quick save this. I will play the full version on it. Let's check out Soul Calibur. You still have the ability to change the options. They're not set in stone, but it has said that it will set the options as best as what they have. So as I say, some of the games that I've tested, obviously I did improve some of the games that I've tested just by tweaking just a little bit of the settings, but still very good. I would ignore this one sometimes because it's not so accurate. I'd concentrate on the one above. As you can see, it's running at 60 frames so far. And looks really, really nice.
Versus Talim. She rides the wind freely, singing her wind songs.
Don't worry, Talim. Believe in yourself.
Battle 1. Fight! Battle 2. Fight!
There'll be a few cache issues, as I say, again, not played it with this update, but as you can see, it does settle to a nice 30 to 35 frames, and as I say, it looks really nice.
Battle 1. Fight!
Kicking my ass, yeah. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try Monkey Ball. I'm still a great believer of they should have a Switch analog stick here. I don't know why they're going with this. I'll do another video on the update to Xbox Game Pass, but yeah, the limitations of this not having L3 and R3 and this being an analog, not an analog, is just disappointing. It really is. It's so frustrating. Otherwise, this would have been the perfect cheap retro handheld. As good as it is, and as much as I think it's amazing, this is a big letdown, guys.
Select game. Main game.
Luckily, not many games utilise it too much.
Normal mode.
But the update itself is fantastic, and I've been really, really impressed with it.
Beginner.
If you haven't got one of these already, guys, this is the best sub £100 handheld you can get at the moment. I'm not too sure if this can be changed, but I may take it apart and see if I can, but I doubt it very much. Again, a lot of this will be cache issues with the slowdown, but again, if you want a nice steady frame rate, you can just go into the settings and we can take it down to like 0.7 or 0.6, should I say, and you will see that it makes a massive difference. And even as low, as I say, if the games are truly unplayable, sometimes it really does help to take it down to 0.3. to get that steady frame rate. Whether you would choose to use it looking like a DS game, obviously Gamecube is not supposed to look like a DS, but hey ho. But I don't mind the limitations of it, and I'm quite happy with going up to maybe 0.9, that'll do me. Let's go with some Wind Waker. Now obviously it's not going to be perfect. You will see a lot of dips in the frame rate on certain parts and heavy loaded enemy fights, but you can still play the game fully on it, and that to me is still impressive. Excuse me. Again, to help with settings, we could take it down to 0.3. As you can see, it doesn't really change too much, but still the option is there to do so. This is 0.5, which actually doesn't look too bad. .6, I think, is probably the best to play it. Again, a lot of this will be a build-up of cash, guys. But as you can see, it is definitely playable. And for those that don't mind a little bit of stuttering and slowdown, but want to maximise the level of quality, you can just ramp it up to 1. And then you can see it really does then improve the sharpness. And I find that it still runs just as good. So I'm really impressed with the development and the developers and how they've updated the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. I think they've done an absolute sterling job. And I do think it runs 10 times better, guys. Let's try one last game. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus and what you think of the new update and obviously the new updated Dolphin for handhelds. I think it's exceptional. I think it's done a really good job. I think this is one of the best, as a sub $100 handhelds that you can get at the moment. It really is enjoyable little handheld. Two big gripes for me. One is the lack of an analog stick, and the other is the size of the screen. 3.5, I just wish it was a little bit bigger. But hopefully on the next version it will have a bigger screen, and it will have 2 switch inputs, and also have the ability to have L3 and R3, especially now that we can utilize like Game Pass and we're using Android. But as far as a little system, you wouldn't be too disappointed really in the long haul, because there's still hundreds of thousands of games that are still massively playable on this. I do think it was a massive upgrade. I think they've done a really good job in keeping the price of what they did. I'd love to know your thoughts anyway, guys, and as always, take care.